Yo, what's up, guys? In today's video, I got a bunch of Chicago Bulls news and rumors and some injury updates. And for those injured players, there's some potential return dates right before the NBA playoffs. So that's huge for the Chicago Bulls. But before I jump into today's video, thank you guys again for 22,000 subscribers. I can't believe I just said that. Definitely make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel so you don't miss out on any future videos. Also, leave a quick like on today's video. It takes a second, helps me out a lot. And some comments and questions below today's video talking about the past few Bulls games and all the topics and injury updates I'm about to jump into. So either way, let's just jump right into it, because according to Casey Johnson, he was on a podcast the other day on NBC Sports Chicago, and obviously he was given some injury updates on Patrick Williams and Alex Caruso. And according to Casey Johnson, he said Patrick Williams could return at the tail end of this upcoming West Coast trip or just after, of course bearing no setbacks. So that's huge. So that opens up a window for Patrick Williams to return around March 18th, and that's huge. I mean, the Bulls have missed Patrick Williams for a while now. I feel like even though Vuce has been up and down this season, I felt like when Vuce played the best, and honestly, I think when the Bulls played the best was when Patrick Williams was playing with the starting five. I just feel like they mesh well together in the front court when they are healthy. So I would expect Patrick Williams back maybe March 18th or around that date, right before the end of March. So that's just huge for the Bulls, getting this team 100% healthy for the NBA playoffs. And by the way, just a little heads up, I am recording this video Saturday morning because I have a really busy Saturday night and Sunday. So who knows? I know there has been some talk about Alex Caruso playing Saturday night, so that would be yesterday by the time you guys see this video. But Alex Caruso was talking to the media and Casey Johnson, and he said that his bone is healed. He has no limitations, but he is a little sore with some soft tissue that just needs to be tightened up and strengthened over time. Caruso did say we're really close to returning. He said there's no target date as of right now. Casey Johnson did say it definitely sounds like he needs more contact practices. I did see that he was questionable for yesterday's game, so if he doesn't play in last night's game, obviously he would have played by now by the time this video goes live, but I would expect him back sometime early this week, and that's huge. This team getting healthy is huge. These past few games, the Bulls have just really struggled on the defensive end, fouling troubles and just rebounding troubles, and Casey Johnson did follow up all these injury updates, but by putting out some I'd say a pretty important stat, and he said when the Bulls ran a starting lineup of Lonzo, Zach, Caruso, Demar, and Vuce, they only played 95 minutes together this season due to injuries and everything like that. But when all those five players were on the court, they posted a net rating of plus 12.5, and the Bulls are 12-5 with those players playing. And when the Chicago Bulls have their two best defenders in the starting five, and obviously three All-Stars with Zach, Demar, and Vuce paired with them, their plus-minus is amazing. The Bulls are 12-5 when they're all healthy. And Alex Caruso did comment on that stat and everything like that. And he said, when you add those guys in here, I think we are elite. And I agree. This team is elite when they're healthy and playing well together. And it sucks to see that this whole season, the Bulls just couldn't get healthy. So hopefully by the end of March, I'll of course keep you guys updated on more injury updates and everything like that. But I do expect going into the NBA playoffs for this team to be 100% healthy. So that's huge in my opinion. Definitely leave some comments and questions below today's video talking about all those injury updates and some potential return dates for those injured players. And the next topic in today's video is about a potential free agent that the Chicago Bulls are expected to be interested in. There was a lot of talk about him or surrounding him around the NBA trade deadline. And obviously, Tristan Thompson was a huge pickup for the Bulls. I believe he fits amazing with this roster, but it might be hard to, I'd say, re-sign him in this upcoming offseason. And according to a Bulls insider, he was talking about how he wanted the Chicago Bulls to try and trade for Montrezl Harrell at the trade deadline. Obviously, that didn't happen, and I know the Hornets did trade for him, but he is on an expiring deal. He's going to be a free agent for this upcoming summer, and I believe he'd be a great replacement if the Bulls can't afford Tristan Thompson or vice versa. He is a free agent. He's a high-energy big man who can score and rebound the basketball. He also would add some much-needed toughness down low for the Chicago Bulls, and the Bulls insider continued, and he said he wouldn't mind if the Bulls did make a move on him. There has been some talk, and I know some Bulls fans really wanted the Bulls to try and get him a few seasons back, or maybe it was last offseason, and it wouldn't surprise me if the Bulls did show some interest in signing him for this upcoming summer. I mean, he is only 28 years old. He is a 6'7" power forward or center. He does weigh about 240 pounds. He does have a 7'4" wingspan, and like I just said, he's just a tough physical player that the Bulls might be needing to add for this upcoming offseason. He's just a dog on the court. He's a great offensive and defensive rebounder, and I believe the Bulls could possibly get him for cheap. He's not a good three-point shooter, but on the season, he has been playing really solid. In about 58 games for this season, he has averaged about 14 points per game, 7 total rebounds, 2 assists, shooting about 64% from the field. He's not a three-point shooter. He's not the best free throw shooter, but he is shooting about 71% from the free throw line. If the Bulls can't re-sign Tristan Thompson, I believe he'd be a good backup plan. I mean, he did win Sixth Man of the Year back in 2019, and he has been kind of getting passed around the NBA, so it wouldn't surprise me if the Bulls were interested in him. Definitely let me know if you guys would want the Chicago Bulls to target him in this upcoming summer. And the final topic in today's video is about Jimmy Butler and another former Chicago Bulls player, talking about the current Bulls roster. Jimmy Butler was doing an interview with Yahoo Sports just the other day, and he was asked, what is it like, playing against a former NBA team? He responded by saying, I love getting booed. I don't think you should be liked or loved by anybody, except for Chicago. Chicago, please don't boo me. Everyone else feel free. And obviously, when this news and this interview came out, a bunch of Bulls fans were just being, Bulls fans on Twitter saying Jimmy Butler returned to Chicago. And let me just say, I highly doubt that ever happens. Obviously, I love Jimmy Butler. I still would do that trade 10 out of 10 times. They got us Zach LaVine back in return. And look at the Bulls now. But it's still great to see that former Bulls players are always showing love to the current Bulls players and roster. And earlier in this season, Jimmy Butler was even talking more about the new look Bulls. And he said they're a really good team. It's always great to see Chicago winning, and they're having fun out there in the stands. The organization, the city deserves it. I think they're going to do extremely well this year. So that's awesome to hear and see that Jimmy still loves the Bulls and still loves Chicago. I would love to get Jimmy Butler back on this team, but I just highly doubt that ever happens. He's getting up there in age, and honestly, the Bulls really don't have a need for him with Zach and DeMar right now. And speaking of former Bulls players talking about this team, Carlos Boozer was talking to the media the other day. He was on a podcast, and he said that the current Bulls team is very good offensively, but they really haven't beaten any good teams yet. And I hate to say this, but I do agree with Boozer. He did continue, and he said they're getting a good buzz around the city of Chicago, but they got to get the wins that count. And I agree. I know a lot of Bulls fans really blame the Bulls for injury issues and everything like that, but at the same time, you can't think like that. You can't play like that. The Bulls, on I'd say most nights, have 3 All-Stars on the floor in Vooch, DeMar, and Zach, and that should be enough. And I understand missing Alex Caruso, Lonzo Ball, and Patrick Williams is a big loss, but at the same time, most of those players are just key players, or I'd say role players, other than Zoe obviously starting. Patrick Williams is pretty much a rookie still. He really hasn't played this whole season, and I just believe the Bulls should be winning a lot more games against these good teams. Thank you guys for watching today's video. Have a good one.